And we're going to interrupt that story to take you live to the Vatican, where we have a new pope. You can see the faithful there in front of St. Patrick's, or rather the Basilica of St. Peter, and there is the white smoke that the world has been waiting for, signaling that a new pope has been chosen. And you can see the emotion on the faces of those who have gathered there for this. People waiting for days now. It really didn't take very long at all. The conclave just beginning yesterday. Several rounds of voting, attempting to get to that two-thirds threshold where one of the cardinals had to receive two-thirds of the vote of 133 members of the College of Cardinals who were voting and taking part in this election. Someone has now received the two-thirds necessary, again, as we take a live look at St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City in Rome. And now the way that this works out is we will await the introduction of the new pope. Whoever it is has to choose a new name, and then he will be introduced to the world from that famous balcony where the doors will open up and he will step forward and introduce himself to people there in Rome and to people around the world. Again, this is history in the making. Catholics from all over the world, including here in Metro Atlanta, have been waiting for this moment ever since the death a little less than 3 weeks ago of Pope Francis, who died at the age of 88 after serving as Pope for 12 years, taking the church and taking the papacy in a more progressive direction. A lot of questions as to which direction will the new Pope take the church. Will he continue on in some of the policies that were put in place by Pope Francis and some of the decisions and the topics, the causes that Pope Francis emphasized, which was more of an inclusive church, a church that looked after the environment and that took care of those who were less fortunate, migrants. Will this new Pope follow along in that direction, or will he take the Pope in a different direction? There are certainly a lot of Catholics hoping that the next Pope will take the Pope in a more conservative direction. But again, we're waiting to find out.